Alright, so I got the deck up here. What I've been doing is I've just been taking a pair of pliers, or channel lock pliers. I've just been trying to kind of massage the deck to see if I could get it to where I could get each side level, and unfortunately this side was the worst. You can see where I've got cracks and whatnot in the deck where the spindle is supposed to, or where the spindle sits. So I'm gonna clean that up and work on that. I don't think I cracked anything on this side. I will check underneath it. As you can see, the wonderful John Deere yellow that's notorious for flaking off is flaking off. I have some touch up to work with that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to clean this up, and we'll check under the deck as well. I think I could get up under there without it sliding off here. You can see I've got some cracks and whatnot under here as well. That side looks okay, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about that side. I think I can go ahead and put the spindle back on that side. But I will touch this side up with the welder, and then we'll put this back on, and we got it running good, so hopefully this thing will be cutting good after that too. I think the goal is, I'm not going to tell it's not going to be 100% perfect, but as long as I can get them to where they will not throw the belt off and such, and not excessively wear the belt, and we'll be in good shape, as well as cut pretty evenly. Those are the three goals I'm trying to achieve with this, so we'll see if we can do it. Alright, y'all, I haven't mentioned, because I know I'd sent my welding some stuff off to my dad a while back. Christmas present, little Flux 125 welder for lawnmower decks. I guess it's fine, because I use it on max and about feed number 8 or so. Just kind of the recommended size for like a 1/8 or 3/16 inch slab of metal. Welded on both sides. As you can see, I mean, I don't have welding gas or anything. As you can see, it's got plenty of splatter on it. It's a lawnmower. I'm not looking for like perfect welds. I'm looking for welds that'll hold. That's the one I might touch up a little bit right there. But I took a pair of pliers, and everything seems like it's holding pretty good. So, like I said, I might touch that up a little bit, but you can see it's holding up pretty nice. I just want some solid mounts to hold this deck on. We'll pop in. We'll look under here too. Show you what I did under here. Let me know what y'all think. Like I said, as long as it holds, that's what I'm happy with. And this welder, after one use, will pay for itself, even though it was a Christmas present to me. So, like I said, I haven't really worked. First time I've ever touched a welder, assembled a welder, done anything with a welder. So hopefully I did a halfway decent job. I know y'all will let me know what you think. But now what I want to do is just kind of clean this up around the spindles, and I'm going to get the fake John Deere yellow, which is called the Walmart John Deere yellow, back here. Good old Krylon. It's the only yellow they had, or the cheapest yellow they had. Gloss Sun yellow. Paint around the welds once they dry, or once they cool, excuse me. Paint around where my dad welded right here and right here. And just touch up a couple other areas on the mower deck. I mean, the paint's going to fly off of it as it is, so it's just a matter of just throwing a Band-Aid on. Lipstick on a pig, whatever you want to call it. So I'll go ahead and do that, and would really like to get this deck under there and get it running today. Hopefully the pulleys, I kind of mocked up the pulleys as good as I could. I checked the pulleys, hopefully they're pretty level. So I'm going to paint them, grab a little lunch, come back out here, and continue. Alright, it's pardon the sun, but I got all the pulleys back on, and I've heard mentions that these pulleys on these John Deeres are offset, and I guess I can see some truth to that. I've got them to where they are the same offset on each side, basically. I don't know how good the camera picks that up, but I don't know if I could do that right there and see. I can kind of see that maybe that one's still tilted just a shade more. That's not the one that I ended up re-welding, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if that works, because this one actually fits right on the brake on the bottom part of it. I feel like it needs to still come up a little bit. I haven't tightened that one down on that side yet either, so that might be a factor as well. Let me know what y'all think. What I'm going to do, I've got this belt here, and it seems like it's lining up okay with the pulleys. It looks like it's going to stress them too bad. The only one I'm really concerned about is right over here with the blade engage pulley. But when the blades are on, it's going to be back like that, and as you can see, it's not really pulling on the blade that much, or on the pulley at that point that much either. So I'm wondering if we're going to be okay. So I'm actually just going to throw it on there. I'm going to put the blades on there and make sure that they're not like all cockeyed and stuff, or too badly. And then I'll put it on back on the mower there, and we'll give this thing a shot. Hopefully this thing will be all right. I think it will. Just a little bit concerned if I don't have the pulleys quite right, if it's going to cause premature deck belt wear, or if it is also going to cause any issues with it cutting evenly. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Keep working, and we'll get this thing back on the mower. Alright, so I got the blades on, and I'll show you the difference. Like I said, I've heard that some of these are offset for whatever reason, and that might be the reason, because if they were not offset, they might touch. So what I'm going to do to align the blades is I'm going to, I guess what I'll do is I'll make sure that they hit about the same point on both sides height wise, because it does slightly go under the deck there, but I think the anti-scout wheels will take care of most of that. I did have to do a little bit of grinding because this area was broken and has been re-welded, and in order to clear that off. So I was able to get that cleared off. It spins freely now on both sides. They're not going to hit each other, the blades. So I wanted to say that that's the reason. Like I said, I don't know too much. All I know is that the Craftsman's usually pretty level with each other, but these John Deeres, they may not be. I don't know if y'all have worked on an LA 105 or L series or E series or D series or whatever series all these decks are made on. Let me know if they're supposed to be offset just a little bit. I feel like these are offset a little bit too much, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make sure that the bottom part of the height adjustment is cutting correctly on these sides respectively, because these blades will be spinning are fast enough to where hopefully it won't chop the grass up. So just wanted to show you all that and just ask questions. Now I'll get it back on the mower and we'll test this thing out. Alright, so here we are here. I have changed the oil on it. I mentioned in another video, I looked up and it looks like a cross-reference of a SuperTech ST 3614 oil filter or the like. Seems to work okay. Just checking this gasket to make sure nothing's leaking out of it. It looks good. There's a little bit of oily residue from where I had the valve cover gasket leaking after I tried to fix it with the oil still in it. Silly me. So we're going to see how that oil filter does. I've heard people use car oil filters in lawnmowers and have no issues. So I know some people are kind of specific on it. one other concern I have, and we're going to figure this out as we go. I don't know if I'm missing any of the guides for the belt or anything like that, because I don't have any on the pulleys, and I don't know if these John Deeres actually came with guides on the pulleys. It's been a long time since I've run one or worked on one. So let me get this y'all stand and let's crank this thing up, and I'll just run it in place. Hopefully the blades will work the way that they're supposed to. Should get y'all a good vantage point here out of the sun. There you go. So it's literally completely stopping as soon as I throw the blades on it. I don't know if it's because of a couple of the pulleys were kind of worn right there at the top, so I don't know if it's the pulleys or if it's just the fact that, because all the pulleys are turning like they're supposed to. And I can check the other side as well. Could have a safety switch issue too, you never know. That pulley's turning like it should. Something's getting hung up right there, it seems like. Maybe not, because that just might be the blades. Alright, so we may not be done with this yet, folks. Like I said, I don't know exactly if there's supposed to be guides or something on this thing. We can try it one more time here. I don't know if it'll work. Really wreaking havoc on the belt, as you can see. So So it looks like I'm gonna have to take the belt back, or take the deck back off, and just kind of see what the heck I've got going on here. I know I've got the right belt for it. I don't want to chew this belt to pieces trying to troubleshoot the issue or anything of that nature. And I think it has to be, or it's associated, you can see a little dust and dirt there. I think it's associated with the pulleys not lining up. So I'll continue to work on this thing. Hopefully I can find a good cure to the problem that we have at hand here. So let me do a little bit more working, a little bit more troubleshooting, and see what I can come up with. Alright, so I did a little research, and I am missing the guides that go around the side of this mower. Just trying to figure out where they screwed into. I guess they screwed in right here on each side, because for the most part I will have to work on it a little bit, but I think the pulleys are lined up. It's just really hard engaging, and there's no really deck bearing problems or anything with any of these pulleys or anything of that nature. So I think it's just stressing for whatever reason. I've got the springs in the right place. I've got the other stuff in the right place. This pulley is still a little offline. I might pull it off and work on it again. But I do want to like make some makeshift shrouds or whatnot to go on right here. That way it helps prevent the belt from coming off. And I think if I can get this pulley to pivot down a little bit, then I think I might be alright. But I do definitely need to get some guides for the belt, because this is the right belt. It will work. It's just a little, whenever it disengages, if I remember right, it disengages very loosely, because that's the way that it's supposed to be. There's plenty of tension on it to run the deck. So let me, I guess, look into my scrap pile and see what I can find, to see if I can get some makeshift guides for this thing, so that it'll actually not come off the deck. So we'll work on that next. Also, I wanted to mention that I believe that the blade safety switch is bad, because when I was showing y'all before and I was pulling the blades up and the thing was killing the motor, I think that was the reason why I have permanently pulled it back. If I can find that that's the case, and the reason for why it was cutting out whenever it was engaging the blades, then I will replace it. That is after I get the deck all sorted out. I'm pretty close. I think I just want to make it so that I want to get that pulley on the right side a little bit straighter, and like I said, I need to put guides on it as well. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll get the deck back off and we'll continue with that. Alright, so like I said, I don't have the covers to go around the spindles here. So what I have done is I've actually made some belt guides to place onto each side of the mower, like so. That one fits a little bit better. I have to do a little bit of adjusting, but what I've got it to do is I've got it to where it will work around the spindle there, to where it can keep the blade on, filed down the edges so that it's not cutting the blade, or the belt, excuse me. And so that's kind of what I'm doing there. Debating on whether or not I want to weld them or if I want to just bolt them down, because I know if I weld them, then it's going to be difficult for people to get them off when they want to change the belt. So I might drill a hole right here and bolt them down, just so that they can be taken off whenever one wants to, put the belt on. I'm going to put 2 on each side. Again, like I said, they're just to keep the belt on so that it doesn't come off whenever I hit the blade brakes. What I also did is I bent the blade brakes in because they weren't making contact with the spindles. And so I've done that, as well as I added a nut on the back side just so that the arms aren't moving around as much. So when you engage the blades, it's off. It doesn't have to be off that far, because you just need no friction on the brakes. And when it's on pretty good. So, or as good as I'm going to be able to get it. So I've got that going. These brackets, like I said, I think I'm going to drill a hole in them and bolt them down here. So let me get to that point, and we'll see what we have. So I ended up going the welding route. I thought about going the bolt route, but just being able to clean the paint off with the angle grinder and just welding it the way that it was seemed like it was the best way to go. And so I've got it mocked up here. I've got the welds down there. Remember, I'm using a flux core welder with no gas, so it's going to be dirty as all get out, the welds that I do. But it is holding. And again, these are guides, so they're not going to be like tensioners or anything that need a ton of, reinforcement. So those are holding just fine. Like I said, I'm going to test them quite a bit. I have moved the pulley around and they're not hitting anything. These are just basically used to keep the belt from coming off whenever the blades get disengaged. So I've got this side done. Well, not done completely. I'm going to paint these yellow just kind of to match the deck. I'm going to do the other side over here, and then I'll catch up with y'all when I finish both sides, and we put this. I'll show you what it looks like before I put it back on the deck, and then we'll put it back on the deck. Put the deck back on the mower. Alright, so here's the finished product on this side. I'm still waiting for the paint to dry on the other side. I mean, it doesn't look factory by any means, but I tried to weld it halfway decent. They're not coming off, and so I mean, it's just guides. They don't need to really hold any tension or anything like I said. But I was able to thread it, just pull these back, thread the belt through there. I'm just waiting on the paint to dry on this side before I put this pulley on. And one more thing that I did is actually bent this piece up just a little bit, because what it was doing is this pulley was actually kind of feeding on the top part, or this spindle pulley was feeding on the top part of this blade engage pulley. So I bent it up just a little bit just so that it kind of feeds more in the middle, because other than that, I mean, it is lined up pretty much with the crank pulley. So now it's just a matter of me getting the right side back on, threading it through the guides, making sure that this belt's not going to get chewed up by the guides, because I tried to file down the edges and they really don't feel all that bad, although can't touch wet paint like that. So I filed down the edges of the guides that I made, and I'm putting all that together now, and we'll see if we have any success with this. I hope so. Y'all heard it cutting grass, or it wasn't cutting grass, but it was the blades were on and engaged. The belt was kind of rattling around a little bit, but maybe with the guides on there it'll help that out a little bit as well, and with me changing the pulley around. And also I've got to get this blade, or this safety switch. I believe it's fixed. I don't think it was because there was too much load on the engine the first couple of times I engaged the blades, but like I said, we'll see. We'll see how it is. It's kind of trial and error. It's a little bit of fun because, like I said, I only have about $75 in the mower since it was given to me. So let me let this paint dry a little bit, put this pulley on, put the deck back on, and hook everything back up, and we'll see what kind of action we have here. Hopefully it's success and it's not wasted effort. Alright, so I got the deck back on it. One thing I did note, I know that I said I put nuts on the back side of the blade brakes just to make them, I guess, break up against this a little bit harder than they are. That actually turned out to be binding up the blade engage pulley over there, which you can see is still not 100% lined up. I want to work on that if it's going to cause any problems with premature wear and stuff on the belt. I'm going to run this thing probably a good half hour. I might just run over the entire yard with it just to see if it'll, just to see, you know, if it acts up or anything like that, before I deem it good to go. But I do have it where it's engaging and disengaging the way that it's supposed to now. The only problem is it's raining outside, so I'm going to wait until it's not raining anymore to test this thing out, which what the forecast is. I think it's going to be a couple days. But I mean, it's running good. We know the blades will engage, and then we now just have to figure out if it was pulling too much load on the motor since these blades hadn't turned in a few years, or if the actual safety switch is bad for the deck and the deck. I know it's the deck because one of two things. If it were the seat safety, I would not be able to drive it anywhere. If it were the brake safety, or if it was the parking brake, I wouldn't be able to crank it up with the parking brake on, and as soon as I let the parking brake out, it would go out. So I know it's that blade safety, if it is a safety switch at all. Like I said, it's starting to shape up. I hate that it's taking so long for me to get this thing done, but I want to get it done. I want to get it done as right as I can, considering the circumstances. So yeah, let's I guess let the rain clear up. It's a perfect time to clean out the garage, I guess, or clean up the garage. I don't really need to clean out anything right now, and we'll test it when it's dry. Alright, so it's been a few days and I've been thinking, and I still got the issue with the spindles. That hasn't gone away. You can see kind of how lopsided it is and how it's kind of off of the blade brake and stuff like that. So I think I've got the engage mechanism okay. What I'm going to try and do, and I think the bolts are long enough to do it. Gotta love the welding job sometimes, but it's hold up pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the spindles here real quick, and I'm going to well, I may not have to, but just to access them, I'm going to take the bolts that are on the high side, so like the two bolts that are on the back there, and I'm going to take the spindle, take those two bolts out and kind of turn the spindle down a little bit, and I'm going to get under the deck. I'm going to grab a couple of sized washers, and I'm going to get under the deck and I'm going to space the washer on the bottom of the deck where the bolt is between the deck and the spindle. I want to even it out. Hopefully it won't vibrate as much, because it was vibrating some too while it was running. I think I've got the guides pretty good in place. So I'm going to try that on this side first, and if it's a success, I'm going to use it on the other side as well, just because I just really wanted to get it to where all the spindles and whatnot are even. Because I think what it's going to do right now is it's going to prematurely wear the belt out, and it's not really lined up on the pulleys very well. You can see right here on the let me engage the blades, and maybe you can see on the blade pulley there that you see how twisted that belt is right there around the blade pulley. That's not ideal by any means. Let me raise the deck up and let me see if y'all have a better view of it. It's better right there, but it's a little bit worse. Let me engage the blades. It's better right there, but I want it to be adequate at all cutting heights. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these bolts out on this side, put a washer between the deck and the spindle. Actually, I'll take these two out for this side of the deck. Lower the spindle on this side, and I'm going to see if that helps matters any. I want to get it as lined up as I can because I don't want the belt coming off and premature belt wear and stuff like that. So let me get on that. Alright, so I know I did all this off camera, but all it was a matter of taking these 5/16 inch pulleys back off, and then I came down here and got the bolts 10 millimeters. And what I did, I'll show you while I had the bolts off, because it's easier just to do it and show and tell later than to show and tell as I was doing it. Like I said, this is a trial. There's still plenty of thread left. Like, the thread is about right. It's almost down to the very edge of the spindle there before it pushes out there. I did it on both sides. I put 3 washers, and I put them on the high side, what was on the high side of the deck. I did this on both sides while I was at it. I had one bolt, because I've taken these spindles off so much, I had one bolt strip out of my strip out, so I ended up replacing it with a washer, a bolt and a locking nut. I might have to do that 1 or 2 more, because just taking it on and off even with the impact still seems to have wanted to strip 1 or 2 of the bolts. I'm in aluminum threads, so they're only good really for a few times before they really start stripping. Anyways, that's kind of what I did, and let's look down at that pulley. I mean, you saw it was a lot better than it was. And this pulley here is about even now, to be honest with you. So let me put this deck back on. Looks like they're hitting in a good spot on the deck pulleys themselves too, like on the blade engage and then kind of a guide pulley there. So let's see after we put this back on and hopefully test this out. Hopefully it's not throwing belts and stuff anymore. Alright, so I just checked the oil on it. It's good to go. I like the way that the deck's sitting. I like it a whole lot better than when I originally started this. I think the guides are going to hold up pretty well. I'm happy about that. So I think I'm always nervous whenever, especially when I do deck work, if I do deck work, like turning on the deck and stuff the first time, because I'm always afraid of like stuff shooting out of the of the deck and whatnot. So let's crank this thing up and see what we have. I hope we have a reliable deck that's safe to use.
Ooh, got a little backfire there. How about that? Alrighty, y'all. So, obviously I've only run it for about a minute with the deck on. The belt's not hot, so it's not slipping. Everything looked like it was performing the way that it needed to perform. It didn't look like the belt was vibrating too bad. I mean, it's going to vibrate some. That's oil smoke. I've just got to run this thing a little bit. I really like... Let me check all my bolts real quick. Nothing's loose that I can tell. I think, check this side as well. There's the couple that I was concerned if they were stripped or not. I honestly think the best thing for me to do is to just take this thing out and at this point just cut some with it. Just run it. Just test it out and see if I have any abnormal belt wear. If anything is compromising anything. My belt guides are working excellent. I am very happy about that. That was one of my many concerns. So let me take this thing out for a little ride and see what happens. All right, so I can see it's dark now. Everything is checking out so far. I'll tell you one thing. I disengaged and engaged the blades about 5 or 6 times. On the very last time I disengaged them, the belt slipped off the crank pulley here. All the other pulleys, they're not slipping off or anything like that. So I took the pliers and I adjusted the guides a little bit. Hopefully that will prevent it from sliding off. I'm going to try engaging it and disengaging it with the blades all the way down a few times, just to see if it'll replicate the issue. That is a new deck belt, but I think I might have stretched it out a little bit. But I mean, there's no odd wear or anything of that nature on it, which y'all probably can't see in the dark, but there's no odd wear or any excessive wear anywhere on it. So the pulleys are even enough to where I don't have to worry about that. Apart from that, everything's working as it should, apart from the safety switch for the blades, which is probably causing, or it's probably the reason why it's not letting me mow in reverse. So that's one thing. But let me actually end this part for y'all. It's just a couple minor little things there. So I'm going to end this part as we always do. We're going to blow off some pine straw. Disadvantage not being able to cut in reverse. We'll see if it engages again here. I think it will. If it doesn't, then I'll realign the belt, but let's see. There we go. Pretty fast too. I'm only riding in third. engage the blades going up the driveway. Didn't want to go. It sometimes gets like that. I don't quite understand. Because nothing's frozen on it or anything. See if it goes again here. Let me do this. Cut it down low. Let me engage it a couple times like this. That thing starts with a vengeance. Alright, let me check it one more time. We're looking good. We're looking real good, y'all. Here's one thing I'm going to do real quick. I don't know why this thing started backfiring after you cut it off now, but because it's supposed to have the anti-backfire solenoid on it. There's no leaks coming out from the overhead valve cover, which is good. This is really the first time I really got the motor good and hot. If you remember, the coil had the insulation chewed off the wire, although the wire's still good, so that's not causing me any issue, which I'm really happy with. So now, let me grab, and I'll do a new clip, but what I'll do, that's shocking as well, is I'm going to take the zip tie off, and we're gonna test this blade safety switch. A part of me thinks, actually it's off right now, so it must have slid off. But a part of me thinks that the reverse option doesn't work because I had this on it. So let me get some clippers and cut that and see if I can get the reverse thing to work now. Alright, so let's see what we've got here. Again, I took the zip tie off the safety switch, so... Alright. Very interesting, so it won't let me mow in reverse at all, actually. Yeah, it's probably backfire again. Ooh, maybe not. Alright, so what we have figured out here is the blade safety switch works. The mow in reverse currently does not, for whatever reason. And so I might have to do some, excuse me, I might have to do some troubleshooting on that. It's rubbed around the steering column as well, so I don't know if I like that very much. But what I'll do is I will call this thing sorted for right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video right here. If I get the reverse option working, I'll let you know. I don't think switching these poles does anything, but I will see. And if it does, I'll let you know on the very end. If you have any ideas for me how to test the mow and reverse option, it's not a deal breaker for me, but I really, really would like to get it going if I at all possible I can. Let me know. Also, let me know what you think about the fix on the mower, about the deck as well. I'm not 100% thrilled about how I fixed the deck, the spindles to get them even, but I chose to do that over trying to bend the deck and break it even more than it already is. And I figured that that's probably the better option because there's still plenty of threads in the spindles. I don't believe they're going to go anywhere. I'm going to test them, and obviously I'm going to cut with this a whole lot more before I sell it off, because last thing I want is for somebody to get a bad mower, or a mower that the deck on it isn't working right, because then it basically becomes useless, except that you have a little bit of a yard tractor. The deck belt is not coming off of the front pulley anymore after engaging it and disengaging it about 4 or 5 times after I kind of fixed or pulled the guides in a little bit. So I guess all in all, I think I have about $75 to $80 in this mower. I think a little over 80 with the guides. Let me know what you think of the fixes and what I could do better. I'm always open for feedback. I hope I've helped some of y'all out as well. But I will end this video series here, as it is basically 99% sorted. Again, if you have any ideas on why it's not cutting in reverse, please let me know. I think the blade safety switch is just fine because it's working properly now. I think it just had a lot of resistance when I first tried to engage and disengage the blades. We know that the reverse, it's sensing that it's in reverse, so something is not letting it override the blades. Or do the 5-speed LA 105s not cut in reverse? I don't know. A lot of questions to be answered, but if y'all have the answers, please let me know. This one you're probably not going to see anymore in a video series unless I do a couple of small things. But let me show you which one's coming up, and I'm really excited to be working on this one. It's been sitting in the garage for almost a couple months now. I'm ready to get rocking and rolling on this. It's the Craftsman 1750 LT, the limited edition with 17.5 Kohler in it. So you'll should be seeing a lot of this coming up here in the near future as I get it ready. But yeah, I think I've gotten a good John Deere here. Never done an LA 105. That's by far the most deck work I have ever had to do to a lawnmower that I've gotten before. But again, got it for free. And I've put about $80 to $85 in it, roughly. You know, with the battery and a couple of the things, and, you know, just buying oil and stuff. So I am hoping if I get everything sorted out, especially the cut in reverse, when the spring hits, I'm gonna list it for $550, and I will let it go for no less than $500 with everything working. I am going to do a little bit more cutting with it before I sell it off, just because I want to get a good 30-45 minutes of deck time, cutting time with it. And I think after I do that, then I can deem it to be good. If there's anything else I didn't follow up on that y'all been following me on this, ask in the comments and I'll be happy to tell you. Again, any advice on the cut and reverse option, I'll be more than open to it. And if I get it sorted out before this video drops, then I will also put that in the description below. Anyways, a lot of exciting stuff. Thank y'all. We're almost at 1,200 subscribers, which is really nice, and we might hit it by the time this video posts. So, spring's looking good. Got a lot of comparison videos coming up, especially after I get the Craftsman and the Troy built done. So yeah, thank you all again for watching. Thank you for the support. We'll catch you next time.